Hi, my name is Candace Williams. I teach in Guilford County Schools. I have been a teacher for 22, 23 years, give or take. I had some kids along the way, so that kind of skewed things. But I taught reading and social studies for about 15 years in the elementary school setting in fifth grade. And then I got promoted to sixth grade, and I teach sixth grade math currently. So this whole experience with literacy and the content has really opened my eyes and kind of made me sad that I've not really thought about literacy and the content because I taught reading for so long. I thought about school and content being in its own box instead of everything being sort of interrelated. So we use workbooks in our math classes in Guilford County. We use a curriculum called Open Up Resources. And when I read through the content that we've learned in our class, it really stands out. There's a reason and a rationale for why our district chose this workbook. So in this lesson, this is data and distributions. There's a lot of vocabulary, and I do focus on vocabulary in the book, and the workbooks do a really good job of having kids look at characteristics of words and what things mean versus what they don't mean. And we do talk through what definitions are in relation to ourselves. And so we can apply that, and hopefully kids can use that and use mathematical language. We really work every day to have kids use mathematical language. And so I see that vocabulary component come in. So the first module that we went over was really important to me and really hit home because I felt like I've been doing that for so long and I didn't even realize it. Like I almost feel like, why didn't I know this? So in this first lesson, I'm gonna hold it a little closer. Might be a little backwards. It says, curious about caps. This is the third lesson of the unit, and we were talking about statistical questions and what makes a statistical question. So we have already talked about what a statistical question is. We've looked at samples of statistical questions, and we've looked at non-examples of statistical questions. And this lesson, they're looking at an image and having to create a statistical questions. So now at least three activities that are having them interact with the term statistical question. They're going to know what a statistical question is and why we use that. We we would take something like this and I would probably write their answers up on a board. Sorry, I'm at home, so this is what you get. We're renovating still some, so I don't want to show the rest of my house. But I would show all of their answers on the board, as many as I could write down. And once they see that I'm writing things on the board, a lot of times other students will chime in because they want me to write their words on the board. So I would write what they had on the board. And then we would go through and we'd say, okay, do we agree or do we disagree? And so we would go through all of those things and we would have students agree or disagree. This warm up, this first little task is going to take maybe 5 minutes. So I would try to move through it quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because that's not the heart of the lesson. But when I look at something like this, it just makes me chuckle. It makes me think, open up. You guys are silly. You did it. Like they're doing and using vocabulary all the way through a lesson. We have already talked about statistical questioning since the first lesson. And here it is in the third lesson still being discussed. But at this point, they have a better understanding of what that term means. And they're able to use it when they speak. They can look at a partner and say, that's not a statistical question. Or, oh, wow, that's a really good statistical question because you're going to get a variety of answers from that. And that's what I'm looking for as a teacher as I walk around. I either want to see kids saying yes or no appropriately when we go over this, or when I hear their conversations, I want to hear that they are providing statistical questions and helping each other in that process. The other thing that has really stood out to me in the things that we've read and the things that we've learned about, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but graphic novels. Who knew they were such a gem? I'm going to be honest. This is my third graders. He's going into fourth now, but would kind of roll my eyes when he would pick these out at the book fair. I'm not sure why I'm whispering, but I literally would be like, really? I'm going to pay, because we all know Scholastic puts their price on the back, $13 for a book with pictures. Really? But what really stood out to me was that they're actually higher level, because this is I survived the Battle of D-Day. Huh, that's kind of, today is the anniversary of D-Day. How funny. I didn't plan that. Love it. So as I look through this, I was like, I'm just gonna take a look. So they're reading through things, and it looks like there's some conversations about Allied troops, about some of the different things um, that are going on in the war. The war's already starting. I noticed here at the top it says they've been waiting for this message. Now they're springing into action. And so there's a picture of a little boy having a conversation with this woman. I haven't read this book, so I have no idea. But I thought, wow, the next pictures show where they're sitting by like a telegraph trying to get messages, and it's each group has a different assignment: dynamite roads, destroy bridges, blow up ammunition warehouses, blow up trains. So I have to look at the image in order to make sense of the text. And when they use the word springing into action, my third graders got to know that that means they're getting up and they're getting ready and they're going out. They're not moving slowly into action. They are springing, they are catapulted into action. And so I've kind of been humbled with the graphic novels. So for me as a math teacher, I am going to look for this summer some graphic novels about math. I've found some on Amazon. Let's see if I can get some instructional funds. And why not, before I teach a unit about data and statistics, my students interact with a graphic novel about statistics because I found one. So I imagine groups of students, because I love students to work in groups because we've got to talk with our neighbor about math. Groups of students working together, interacting with a book. I imagine it kind of showing what's going on with pictures and with words. And really, many of us are visual learners. So I can't wait to give graphic novels and my math content a chance to come together so that students who are maybe struggling readers, maybe are visual learners, maybe need to see this in a different way, have an opportunity, number one, to experience math in a different way, and number two, develop concepts in a deeper way. That's really all I want for my students. So I'm giving graphic novels definitely a second chance. And I was just tickled. My kid really likes them. I'm glad that I've spent $8 million at Scholastic Book Fair on graphic novels. No, probably not that much. But another word, the grenade must have triggered the C3. And then you can see boom, boom, boom. So they've got to figure out from the image and the words, the word triggered. I could go on for days. I have really enjoyed learning, number one, about the importance of vocabulary and how it makes us understand text and how we use vocabulary to understand content. And then graphic novels in the content area, there is a place and a purpose for graphic novels, and we need to give them a chance. And I don't need to roll my eyes when my son wants me to buy a $13 graphic novel, because really he's reading above grade level. What? Learning vocabulary and being able to look at an image and look at a piece of text and put that together for it to form that idea and that concept. So I'm excited to do more with that.